If the 21st century were a dollar, this is how much of it we got. If I were to flip this quarter and predict that we are going to see an Arctic blast at the turn of 2025, heads I win, tails you lose. Huh, I win. Look at that. The time is 7:48 p.m. and it is December 30th. Welcome to another update of Great Lakes weather. Hopefully all of you are doing well today. And yes, that is what we're talking about, and I know I kind of advertised this video because there is a lot, and I mean a lot of hype on social media right now. And to be honest, I'm pretty excited, not gonna lie. I know many of you have been asking for a good, nice Michigan winter, and a Great Lakes winter, as a matter of fact. Like, when are we gonna see a winter like that? The time is now. We are going to see quite a bit of cool air make its way in. We have a negative Arctic oscillation and a negative North Atlantic oscillation, which is going to easily enable the arrival of some cold air down into the continental United States. And this is why you have this threat for much below normal temperatures that is now present across portions of the eastern continental United States, all the way down deep into Florida, as a matter of fact. It's not, so Florida, you're not going to be out of this one either. You're going to see some cold air, and not going to lie, some of the models have actually hinted at the potential for maybe even a little bit of snow on the panhandle. Good luck. We'll see if that happens. But really, the potential for heavy snow is going to settle further to the north. We have that potential for heavy snow across those lake effect snow bands attached to Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, and then also, of course, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, those places that are notorious for seeing a lot of lake effect snow during this time of the year. It's coming back. And it's going to come back with a winter wallop, okay? Some of the models we're putting out, some of the coldest air we've had since 2018. We're going to be careful before we make that actual assumption. But I will say, though, cold air is coming, and I'm going to say it's pretty much a guarantee at this point. You're going to see cold air, and it's going to be air that hurts your face. Why are you living where the air hurts your face? Because the Great Lakes are awesome. That's why. So let's talk about what we are dealing with this setup over the next several days. We're going to start with the shorter range, okay? What we were looking at there is a 7 to 14 day outlook, so that's going to be around January 7th and beyond, okay? What we're focusing on now is how we're going to lead up to this, okay? So we're going to start with today, okay? We do have a system coming in that will bring some snow potentially to portions of Michigan and possibly Indiana as well. It's going to be this one. You can see it right here, okay? What we have is a low pressure system that is deepening. Now you notice down here, oh, there's a few cells that are popping up across southern Indiana and Kentucky. You may think that those might bring potential for severe weather given the pattern we had yesterday. That's not going to be the case here, okay? These storms are going to probably maybe produce maybe a rumble of thunder or two, but other than that, it's really going to be just mainly rain, okay? And on the northern side, you notice that there is also rain. So you're talking about, where's the snow? Well, just wait just a second. I'm going to show you, okay? This rain right here across northern Indiana is going to slowly transition to snow because you may notice on the back side of it right here, you got that cold air wrapping around and that counterclockwise motion that you typically have with these low pressure systems. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to lead to the snow transitioning across portions of Michigan. So it's going to start out as initially rain for portions of Michigan, okay? You have a few showers and thunderstorms that are occurring across Indiana, and then you have it pretty much fully transition over to snow across portions of southern Michigan by Tuesday morning, okay? So this is actually coming up pretty quick. It's going to be, by morning, we're going to be seeing snow across portions of southern Michigan. So going to be some slick spots on the roadways Tuesday morning. We want to keep that in mind. We might even live stream a little bit during the morning because we will be out and about during the Tuesday morning commute. So we might do that. What you see here also is the lake effect snow bands that occur on the back side. So what we're going to see is wrapping of cooler air. This is the initial start of that cooler air making its surge into the Great Lakes region. Now, is it going to be as cold as I'm projecting 8 days out from now? No, we're not going to have that, okay? We are going to have cool air, though. And it's probably going to be closer to freezing, a little bit sub-freezing at some times, okay? But you notice the lake effect snow bands fire up on the back side. Again, you're going to have likely a 23-degree temperature difference from the surface of the lake upwards. Again, that pattern right there that you see. You notice that the temperatures, this is over the lake, so you notice that it's above freezing right now. But that 23-degree temperature difference from the surface on up is what contributes to the lake effect snow development, and that is why we see it across Lake Michigan. And also going to be occurring likely across portions of northern Ohio as well. Snowfall accumulations, not really going to put too much of an estimate. I will say there are likely to be some places that exceed 4 inches in a few spots. Those isolated banding areas might see some places, particularly across the northern Michigan region, and places that places that see those focused snow bands. Not everyone is going to see a huge amount of snow with this initial setup. So that's something important to keep in mind. The wind is going to be are a little bit elevated with this pattern as well. So you notice here, it's going to be gusting up to 40 miles per hour on the northern side of that system as it progresses through. And on the back side, you notice that the winds tend to pick up as we get into Wednesday. Again, the lake effect snow machine fires up quite or more robustly on Wednesday, and that's New Year's Day. Happy New Year 2025. You're going to start with some snow. Great stuff, right? So, southern Michigan, you have wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour, so that's something to keep in mind there. Just a little bit breezy, and I mean, it's probably going to be more somewhat of a wetter snow, and then it'll transition slowly to a powdery snow as well. So there might be a little bit of blowing snow with that, so that's something important to keep in mind. Moving forward, you can see the Weather Prediction Center's probabilistic winter precipitation guidance here. And that is showing the probability of greater than 2 inches of snow in some spots. And again, this is kind of a broader map for some places. There are likely some places that see greater than 2 inches, particularly in these oranger areas. You have an 80% chance of seeing greater than 2 inches of snow. And then as we increase the amounts here on this map, again, this is publicly available. You can access this as well. You can see the web link right here. But what you have here is you have the about a 40 to 50% chance of seeing greater than 4 inches of snow across portions of western Michigan here, and you can see the probabilities going up as you get into the Upper Peninsula, and then also across Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Looks like Lake Ontario is going to see the brunt of the potential for heavier snow. As you can see, they still have high probabilities for greater than 8 inches of snow in that region. You can see the probability for 8 inches of snow across western Michigan is not really much present. 5% risk for that. So that's what they are projecting there. Again, there's going to be isolated places that see more snow than others. So that's the important thing to keep in mind with this pattern. All right, we've covered the next 2 days. Let's fast forward now and talk about what is coming later on. Again, winter wallop. That's kind of the topic of today. Okay. So again, with that system that's going to move through Tuesday, tomorrow, we're going to see that move through, and then you got lake effect snow occurring on the back side with the welcoming of cooler air. And again, the cooler air will kind of continue to sit over our area between New Year's Day and beyond. And then we see the welcoming of this guy right here. And you're probably wondering, oh boy, that's the big winter storm that everyone's talking about. Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. But what do we know? We really don't know where this thing's going yet. Okay, we got a rough idea of where it's going, but we don't know exactly where it's going to wind up. So again, not some places that are currently forecast to see some snow or freezing rain, that could easily change. So that's something to keep in mind. We are monitoring the change in trends with these models rather than the model itself. Okay, again, there's multiple models that are saying different things. Okay, there's certain models that are putting in a northward placement. There's some models that are putting in a southern placement. Right now, with the latest model run that I'm looking at here, this is the 12Z. Okay, we may look at the 18Z here in just a minute. But the 12Z was putting out the fact that this low pressure system for the Euro is going to travel in directions such that that's a little bit further to the south. And that further southward motion would actually target the major brunt of the snowfall to portions of Indiana and Ohio. But there's also some models that are saying it will be further to the north. So that's the question that we're asking right now. Is it going to be a southern placement, or is it going to be a northern placement? And you can see that this is going to bring a chunk of snow along with it. Some places could see well over 6 inches of snow. Okay, that's, again, not to be certain yet, but that's what the models have been outputting, and there's some model agreement there on the globals. And as we're starting to get past that about 150 mark for hours, we can start to say, okay, there might be a little bit of meat to this, but we've got to wait to get a good idea of where this thing's going before we make any calls to go buy bread and water at the store. Okay, so let's look at the 18Z, get a little bit of comparison there. Again, there's your system that's going through tomorrow, and then as we start to see the cooler air make its way in, that low pressure system will interact with it. And again, 144 hours out, what you're seeing is that you can't really get that far out just yet. I was thinking maybe we could see it, but we're only 144 hours out there, and we're still waiting to get an idea. But this is, again, this system is going to be targeting Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. That's going to be kind of the idea for this. Moving into Sunday night into Monday, we're going to start to see that snow start to filter in across Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. Would not be surprised, maybe, if this system moves through at that time, to see a little bit of extension on some people's Christmas breaks. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, let's look at the temperature trends from the Euro. Because again, one thing we're pretty confident in is the fact that cooler air is coming. So looking at the temperature here, as we go into Monday, you notice there's that Arctic air starting to make its way in around the back side of that low pressure system. Okay, you got the cold air moving in, a deep trough making its way down. And by the time we get to January 11th, look at your temperatures. Saturday morning. This is air temperatures. This is not wind chill, according to what these weather models are saying. Now, earlier, the models were saying some ridiculous cold air. Okay, is that going to happen though? Again, the models are starting to get a better handle on what's going to happen here. But you can see that cold air is on the way, and it's going to kind of progress through portions of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. And we are probably going to see some cold wind chills with that as well. Now, as we get into the long range, we see another Arctic air mass that might be making its way down to the south. This is the long range, though. We're not going to make any certainties with that, but I do think that this cold air is going to stick around for a little bit. Okay, so let's go back and compare this model run to the GFS model run and see what the GFS is saying. Because, again, what we're doing is we're watching the trends here. If the trends start to become in better alignment and we're getting closer to the event, that's when we can start to make better calls as to what could potentially happen. Okay, so let's progress forward to the system time frame. All right, here we are. Now, the latest 18Z GFS model is portraying a little bit of a different path for the system, and it actually shows, the GFS is actually showing it getting a little bit weaker as it makes its way through with a lot less heavier snow. But it's going to be interesting because the GFS is painting a path that is going in this direction, okay, so kind of in a northeastward path, whereas the Euro is portraying it in this direction. This is why we have to wait before we can make any confident decisions, okay, because the paths are still a little bit different. So, and again, not only that, but what you're seeing here with this model run, okay, is only one of the portrayals based on all of the, and it's not really showing all the ensemble runs, the different possible runs that are being shown. There's a lot of variables that are here. So, but, can say, there is probably going to be a system moving through. We just don't know where yet, okay? So, moving to potential for snowfall accumulations. Again, you see colors. I'm not really going to put out numbers yet because you don't know for sure. But the Euro and the GFS are putting out a similar scenario as of 18Z, okay? Or as of the 18Z GFS, okay? You can see that widespread snow looking likely for portions of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio based on these model runs. Could that change? Probably will change a little bit, but it's looking pretty exciting for those people who do like the snow that will make its way through. So we'll be tracking this setup. We might be chasing a little bit of the initial storm that comes through tomorrow morning. We'll probably be driving through it, making sure roads are in an okay state. But thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully this video is helpful and informational with regards to the winter that is going to be making a comeback as we enter into 2025. So, Happy New Year to you all. See you in 2025. It's been a pleasure. Peace out.